Welcome back everybody, it's Angela here again today. Thank you for joining me. We're going to be having a little bit of fun, doing something a little bit different, but I thought it was time that I put together a little video to show you some creative ways to use up the smallest of scraps, whether that's paper or fabric. So here I am. Right, so I do use up a lot of my scraps whenever I see that pile starting to grow, which isn't often because I'm on top of it so much. Do various things depending on the size of the piece of paper or the fabric. So I thought I'd share some of that with you today, and just show you one or two very tiny projects that you can put together and have on hand for when you're putting your journals together. So let's get started. Right, first of all, just grabbed a few bits, and I really have very little as far as scraps are concerned at the moment. But what I tend to do is I have a plastic pouch which has a snap button on it, and I throw all the bits that I've cut off from the projects that I do when I do my journals. So I've just grabbed a few of them, and I'm going to just talk you through what I do. Now, sometimes we have these very thin strips, and these very thin strips, other than you know, weaving them in together or lying them out on a collage sheet, you know, it's not always that we want to be doing that. So some of the things I use them for, I have a die cut machine, but you can use a punch as well. So for example, this is from my die cut machine. It's a scrap of my lacy paper, and I've made a load of these kinds of things, and I use these a lot at the moment. Well, I use a lot of die cuts anyway. So a great way to use these up is to use a punch or a die cut. Other examples of that would be, this is a little hand punch. It's got a little heart in the middle there. The heart's really little. I would say that that heart measures, let's see, it's 1 centimeter, and if you're looking in inches, you are looking at less than ½ an inch. So it's really tiny, and a great place to make little hearts. So for example, if I take this little pink strip here, let's get it the right way first, and you go and cut a little heart on the end there. You could actually make this into a little tag. You could cut that off. This is quite a short one. I tend to make them a bit longer. Just cut off those little corners, give a little bit of distress ink, and put other bits and pieces on there and add it to another piece of ephemera. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So let's do that quickly so I can show you what I mean. Right, so I've just got a couple of bits here. I want to just take this little container out. So what I've done is, let me grab these here. Got a couple of ones that I have made. So first of all, with the heart shape, I've made these a little longer. These are always great if you, for example, have a little circle or something else you want to use. Nice to just tuck them in there and add something collaged on the top there. You could put words on there as well. Just tuck them in to various other bits and pieces. So those are a great idea for that. So you can have them longer, then we can have them shorter, like the one I made here, and put a little hole in that and a little tag and add that as a little tag. So there's that. Or you could just use them to mount words on, like my typing words. You've seen me do that a lot. So those are the plain ones. Right, then what I do is I've also taken plain ones, cut it like a little tag. I've layered up those little flowers that I've cut out. And as I said, you do get punches on Amazon, which are, these are 15 millimeters in width, or 1.5 centimeters. That's just over ½ an inch. And you can cut out loads of those and use these as well. So a great little idea to use up these little strippy bits. And it doesn't have to be this, it could be these. It could be anything that you have. All right, so we often cutting off bits like that. Another idea that I had was using a little bit of ribbon, because I often have little bits of ribbon. I've taken one of those bits there, made it into a little flag end at the end, and I've tucked in one of my little bits that I've cut out from a collage scrappy bit. So for example, this sort of sheet, you have lots of bits and pieces, or maybe even floral bits and pieces. You can fussy cut those out and add them onto those sort of areas, and those make great bits on a little pocket or something that you want to decorate up, because it is all the little details that you want to use. All right, so there's that. Now for example, with a collage sheet, here you can see I've cut out some of those measuring spoons. This is all from the scrappy bits that I wasn't going to use. So bits like this, where you can go and cut that bowl out, or that out there, or that out there, and use those bits. So those are some other examples to use those scrappy bits with. All right, so that's all those scrappy bits. Things like this sort of size, I would go and make tabs. So if you've got a tab cutter, you can cut out the tab. It doesn't have to be this shape. It could be, there are lots of different tabs shapes. If you don't have a tab cutter, you can still make tabs that look something like this. So let me show you how I did that quickly. All right, so let's move that out the way. Here I've got a little scrappy bit taken from something like that. I've trimmed it down. I think this is, I'm going to trim it further. Oh no, wait, I'm happy with that. Right, so this one's just short of 2 inches, so you're looking about 4.5 centimeters. What I would do is I would fold this in half like this, first of all, and then if I'm wanting that a bit smaller, you can just cut that off. So say I want it about that size. So I like to work with a double, and then it's, you know, printed on both sides and also sturdier. So once you've done that, you can take your glue. These are great tabs to make, even if you do have, you know, just as something different. So you just put that together with a bit of glue. Then I've got a corner punch. These are picked up secondhand actually, and you can pick them up even new really reasonably. This way I'm just rounding the corners here. You can take your ink and just ink that a little bit, and there you have a plain punch. But what I did with the other one is I put it into my little heart punch. Let's do it this way. Just checking where I am. And these are just a little palm, cheap little thing you get on Amazon. There I've got a little heart cut out. So if I had to put this onto a page, say for example that was the page, and glue it on like that, there you've got a cute little tab that you've made with a scrap of paper. Okay, if you don't have a corner punch, just go and trace something, like for example the lid of that, or if you want a tighter one, that one there from your distress ink. You make a piece of card, trace that shape out and cut around it, and you can draw that with a pencil on the edge and use that as well. I mean, not everybody expects you to have all these tools, and I try and encourage people, you know, start small until you sold on the hobby and then you can gather these things as you go, you know. So that's really cute. Right, so we've got those as well. Now another little thing that I like to do, as you know, is for the longer bits. So if they're slightly wider, so for example this width or even wider, I use them to make a lot of the die cuts that I use in my decorating. So I've got loads and loads of these that I have while I'm decorating. And again, as you create these scraps, go and make some die cuts, or spend an afternoon or a morning and cut out all the scraps that you have. These are the ones I'm using currently for this particular journal I'm working on, and I keep adding to these. But you know, if you've got a load of scraps in a particular pile, I've got other containers, these particular ones here, the longer ones, that I've got in different colors. So if you're not working on something specific but you want to work down those scraps, take a punch, you know, loads of punches. You don't have to use a die cut machine, and have those things ready on hand. So that's what I do. These things, these trays are right in front of me here, and when I'm crafting I can just pick up what I need as I need them. Okay, then another thing to do is shapes. So I've got a circle punch. This is a 1-inch circle punch, or 2.5 centimeters, to cut out when you little floral bits, if you've got scrappy bits with florals on. You know, something like this. You can see I've used it. So cut out that circle, or bigger circles if you've got bigger ones, or you know, whatever you've got. They make a great background to put something on. So if I take a bit of my wallpaper, I've got one of my lacy pages here, I stick those together, and you've seen me do this before, and then you go and put something else on top of there, maybe a fussy cut or something else, or even one of your little die cuts. It's going to look really lovely. Okay, so don't be afraid too. I've got a lot of these really small ones, and I'll show you that punch in a middle. These are really tiny, and what I've chosen to do, use them for recently, is for the top of my tags. So before I punch a hole, I put one of these on the top of the tag. I stick that down, and then I punch my hole through there, and it gives it a lovely little border. And this was from, you know, really small pieces of paper. This is an old punch of mine. It says Chatterbox. It is really tiny. The measurements of this circle, it is just over 1/2 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch. Oh, here's the actual circle. I think it's 1/2 inch, and that equates to 14 millimeters. All right, so don't be afraid of cutting out these things when they are on your desk. Give you great inspiration. Now with the hearts that I cut out, I kept the ones that I cut out for the tabs. Here they are on my desk. So we've got a couple here. There's a little pink one. You can use those as well, you know, so I've thrown them in there as well. So don't be afraid to use that sort of thing as well. Right, so another little circle I've cut out. That's just some of the bits that I wanted to share with you. If you've got anything that's like font, you know, like we had this sheet here, go and tear out little bits here. Font looks great in any sorts of settings, and I'll show you how I do my tags another time. All right, so just a little project with the paper quickly, and those little strips that I was talking about, and just using some of these embellishments that I have in front of me here. So what I've got is I've got 2 little strips that I've got in my scrap pile. One is, these are both from the baking kit, because that's what I'm working on at the moment. So we've got this light pink polka dot one and this one here. These are 3/4 of an inch in width, so you're looking at about 1.5 centimeters, I think. Let's see, yeah, just over. All right, now I'm going to take a paper clip. So this is a great one. I love doing paper clips, and I've got these ones from Helen. Helen sent these to me. Thank you, Helen. And I love them that they're nice and flat there. The size of this is, well, 1 3/4 inches. So you're looking at about, I think that, what is that, is about 4.5 centimeters. All right, so what I thought I'd do is I'm going to thread this through the bottom here. I mean, I know you guys know how to make paper clips, but this is just me using up my scraps. So I want to just put in one of these. So what are we going to do? We're going to take 2.5 inches here. I'm going to just cut that off at the 2.5 inch mark. So there we go. And I'll cut out some little flowers out of that bit. So we've got that one there, and that's going to thread through the bottom one, the bigger loop. And I'm going to tuck that around. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there. Just a little bit of glue. And paper clips always look great as additions to any journal. So if you want to make pretty paper clips, go and look for all those strips. Now I'm going to just make a bit of a banner at the bottom here. So the way to do this, is make a little spot with a pencil or something. Go from the corner to the spot on both sides. It's as simple as that. Okay, so we've got one. Now I want to do another one, so I'm going to use this. This one I'm going to make, I think we'll make this one also 2.5. So, and then I'll trim it down. So I've got enough there for another one. Look at that. Okay, so we've got that. I'll cut the banner on here quickly. So let's do it this way. So we're saying that's the halfway mark, and we'll just cut those up like that. All right, so now I want to make it a little bit shorter, so I'm going to thread it through like that. I'm going to get it where I want it, so I want it slightly shorter, so I'm going to have the point just on the edge there, and I'm going to lap it over slightly like that, and we're going to fold that over. So we'll fold that over there. So we'll get our glue. Now first of all, I'm going to run a little bead of glue just down the side there, just to keep that in place like that. And we are going to take our glue and get that lined up there. Right, so there we go. We've got our little base over there. How cute is that? Now, I'm not going to worry about bits sticking out because I'm not finished. And you can put on as little or as much ink or none at all if you want. Right, so we've got our little tails hanging out there. So we're going to go to the circles. I've got a little lace circle. This one is, let's see, 1.5 inches in diameter. This was a die cut that I'm using, so I want to just put a little bit of ink on the edges here like that, and now we're going to get that stuck on. I'm going to lap it slightly over the bottom here, just so that we can get that stuck on nicely, and we'll thread a little bit of paper through there in a minute. So let's just get the glue just onto this bit there. All right, and then we can going to have those flowers sort of facing up a bit like that. So there we go. Right, and then I'm going to just take a little scrappy bit again, as I usually just thread this through the back there like that, just so that it doesn't impede this going through there. All right, so let's do that. Right, so we'll just put some glue on the underside here. This is just to make sure it stays nicely on the paper clip, because at the moment we only have it really attaching at the base. So we'll get that in place now, and I mean, this glue is so good, you know, you won't have a problem. All right, so let's try that out now. Yes, I'm happy with that. Okay, it is showing a bit through, but you're not going to see that when I'm finished. Right, now what we want to do is I'm going to take one of my big butterflies, because I love them. Big butterfly. And I'm going to be looking, this is the scraps I've accumulated here working on my Bakery Bliss kit. So, oh, I'm going to take some of this. I was going to take some of that. Maybe we can take some of that as well. Right, so just going to take a little bit of this, and I'm not even looking how I cut it off. I'm going to just see, do I want that on there? Yeah, let's just layer it all up. Let's use the Fabri-Tac here. Okay, so I've got some little tulle scrappy bit that I've got in there, and I'm going to just put that on the top, so we have some texture building here. So really the circle is just a base, so we'll just take our fingers. It does become a messy job, and I'm going to just scrunch it up a little bit, just scrunch it up. And then they've got a little scrap of eyelash trim here, and I'm going to just, I think I'm going to stick that on the underside of my butterfly, so I won't go too far. I'm not sure how far the wing span works. And then I'm going to just put a bit of it there. I'm going to just, you know, move it around so that it sticks like a little circle underneath, like that. And then I'm going to just stick that on the top there, like that. Okay, so it's coming along nicely. That looks great. And then I thought what I'd do is I'm going to take one of my little flowers. I'm going to start with, let's do a blue one. So I'm trying to grip it here with the tweezers and be all clever, which I'm not. So I'm going to just put some glue there in the middle, pick up my little flower and put him on the butterfly. How's that? And then I'm going to get a little cream one again from that lacy paper, and I'm going to stick him on the top of that. So we've got lots of layers going on here, and I'm just sort of angling it so that the petals are on all sides. Okay, and then of course, you know, we have to have a bit of a pearl. So let's just grab the pearls, and then we'll just put that there, and we'll put that there, and there you have a little paper clip. How cute is that? And except for the butterfly, everything else here is a scrap. Okay, I mean, I could go crazy here because, you know, I'm having visions of putting little hearts on and all sorts of things. I thought, oh, this is a little bit of black. I quite fancy that. And I might end up putting that over there. You know, now that I've seen it, I want it. So we're going to put a little dab of glue there. Just like the contrast of the black and the cream. So there we go. See, I'll never stop. I'll go on and on and on. There we go. There's a little paper clip. How cute is that? I'm going to use it in my project on Friday. Okay, so we've got that. That's for the circles. I've talked to you about all of that. Now I want to show you a little project, quick and easy little project, so we don't need any glue, that I'm using with some scrappy bits of fabric, ribbon, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be working with this. Now the first one is this. I made this little ribbon scrap. I made some banners, and I had the tiniest scraps, and I'm going to show you how I did this. And I've made those, and these make cute little clusters of a different sort that you can just sew a button on, and there you've got something to pretty up a pocket or anything that like that at all. And again, I'm going to use this on Friday. All right, so that's the one. Here's another little one. I had a little scrap, again, used some of that tulle, made little loops there like that. So we've got those. So I was just messing around. Here's one with some other color bow I had, and I tried that. So these are just scraps that I've had. Here's another one I was making sort of like that. Okay, so I've got a little bow here, and I thought, well, let me just show you how I did this. It's not hard at all. So I've got this little scrap of a ribbon, and I've cut banners on the end there. This scrap is about just over 2.5 inches or 6 centimeters. And I'm going to just move it slightly so it's off center a little bit like that. I use these little clips because they're really handy. That's how I want it. So I'm keeping it like that. Then in here, somewhere. Oh, here we go. I have these little scrappy bits like this. And I thought, fine, I'm going to do something with this too. So I was messing about, and I thought, you know, like you like to make fans when you're doing napkins. Well, that's what I'm going to do here. So on a really tiny scale. So if you are not a fan of fiddly things, look away. And I'm just folding it like you do with a napkin, backwards and forwards, like little pleats. like that. You can see it's fanning out, right, backwards and forwards, and one more. So I just made a little stack of those like that. Okay, now I need to find the center bit. So again, let me grab one of those little clippy clips. We'll borrow this one. Okay, so we'll just clip that in the center at the moment. All right, and then I'm going to just take my needle and thread. So I've got some embroidery thread in here actually, and that's just what I had there, and I can't be bothered to go and get normal cotton, but normal cotton would work. I've made a knot in the end here. Okay, so we're going to take our little concertinaed scrap of fabric, and really it is a scrap, and I'm going to put the needle, we should have left this on here, so let's just do that. It just gives you an extra pair. I want to get this in the middle, so I think the middle's there. Okay, I've got the site of the middle. We're going to push this right through all those little fold lines that we had, like that. Okay, that can come off now. And have I got that central? I haven't quite, so let's just grip it there. Need to move that over just a little bit. And as I said, this is fiddly, so but I like the end result. And then just pull it down to the knot. Now you're not going to see the knot, so don't worry about that. Then just go back again, and don't stab your fingers. Yeah, I could have used a thinner needle, to be honest, but it was just what was there. Right, so we've got that now, and we've got like a little bow tie. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to grab a little button. So I've got one of these oyster shell buttons. So I'm going to take this, and as I said to you, let's just make a better little banner of that bit there. Now to make a banner on a ribbon, you just fold the two sides together like that, and you just cut it like that. All right, and there you go. Right, now you want to just get it off center a little bit. So I've got a little bit off center. I'm going to take my little bow tie here. I don't know what to call it. Going to put that where I want it, so pretty much there. I'm going to put my needle straight through where the middle of this little bow tie is, like that. Move it up a little bit. Right, so I'm going to just catch that in the middle, and when I've got it in the middle, I'm going to put on my button. If I can see there we go. I will pull that through. Right, now you can open up your little feathery bits, just turning my button a bit so I can centralize it more. Okay, I've got it with my nail, so oops, I had it with my nail. Right, now just get it there again. Right, just don't stab yourself at the back of your finger. So we've got it there. Now before I pull it through again, I want to just make sure this is how I want it, and it is. So go and get that again through the other hole and through that one there. Simple pimple. There we go. Right, okay, and there we have our little fanned scrap, and it is a scrappy bit, isn't it? Now but it's going to look effective, I promise you. All right, so go and have a look with any of the little scrappy bits there. To finish this off, I just go and put my needle in between that stitch there. You've got your thread underneath your needle like that, and just give it a little tug. All right, and you can do that twice. and it should stay in place. There we go. Right, and then you can just cut that off. Don't cut it too short, you don't want it to unravel. All right, you're going to stick it down on that bit. So there we go, we've got another little one like that. How cute are those? With this little one, very easy. I've got a cut one for this to show you. Again, you're looking at a piece of ribbon that's like just about 2.5 inches. Again, I've just angled those there. I'm going to take a little bit, here's a little bit of this netting. This is a weird one, so I hope I can explain it all right. Okay, you've got that one flat pointing towards the left, the corner there. Then you just take that one and you push it over like that. All right, so we've got that like that, and then I'm going to put this little clip on the top there just to keep it in more or less that shape. Okay, and then I've got this random piece of netting and I'm going to bunch it up. So I'm going to fold it in half and fold it in half again, and I'm going to just sort of pinch it in the middle. So I've got quarters here and I'm going to pinch that in the middle really. Okay, and just bunch it up. Bunch it up, you know. As I said, this one's harder to explain. I don't know what I did. I just sort of pushed it all together and there you go. Because you never know what shape of scrap you're going to have, you know, so you've got to just make do. I've used different shapes for this with what was in there. Right, now I've got a couple of stitches there. Now it's time to, no, we've got this bunchy bit here. We've got a little ribbony bit there. So I'm just going to move it a little bit over. And then I'm going to stick this on the top there, and then I'm going to just put my needle straight through just to sort of attach it there. I made a bit of a funny loop there. That's okay. This is not meant to be perfect. This is just scrappy bits and they're going to look cute. Right, oh, come through the other way, Angela. Oh gosh, I hope you guys can work out what I'm trying to show you. You know, let's hope that you can. Right, I want to just arrange this the other way, I think, like that. And then I'm going to just grip that bit like that. I think that's it. Right, I've got my needle through there now. And I want the button over there. Oops. There we go. Come here, button. Right, and then I'm going to just stick this through the other side of the ribbon. Okay, and as you're going, you can just arrange it a little bit better. I've got my button there. I just want the holes facing up, and then you know, any lacy bit that you have, any sorts of little scraps of fabric that you want to bunch up will work. Any little, you know, what do they call it, curtain lace, any sorts of details that you have that could work. Just bunch them up. I mean, this was just such a small scrappy bit. And there we go. I've got that little one there. I'm going to do the same on the back. This one I could have had the ribbon a bit longer, but it is what's in there. So as I've trimmed bits off. Okay, and then again, not too close to the bottom. All right, and there's another little bit that you can use. All right, so we've got 3 of those. And I could go on and on and on and on, but I'm going to stop right there. I think that's enough for one day. All right, guys, go and give some of these little bits a go. I'm going to be using some of these, and one of these and one of these, and the paper clip and things in the project I'm preparing for Friday. So I wouldn't have had time to show you all of this stuff now, so I thought I'd do it today first. All right, everyone, so go make a paper clip for yourself. Love this one. Go make these little scrappy bits from your fabrics and things, and look out for the Friday video because I'm going to make a nice project using scraps completely, except for some parchment paper, which you can go and look out for, which is similar to baking powder. So baking powder, listen to me, baking sheets. So this is what I'm using. This here, it says parchment baking sheets, so it's like a grease proof, but I would imagine you guys call it parchment as well. All right, so that's what we're going to do on Friday, so have a look out for that. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope you go and organize your scraps and make use of every little morsel of paper that you can find, and I'll see you on Friday. Let me know what you think, and have a great week, everybody. Lovely to spend time with you. Thank you. Bye-bye.